I never expected buying a $900 house would cost me my family. But it's the best decision I ever made. Want to know how I turned it all around? Hey there, welcome to today's story. I'm so glad you're here. So, what are you doing right now? Whether you're grabbing a coffee, taking a break, or just winding down, I want you to get comfortable because you won't want to miss this one. Today's story is all about a person who's had to face some serious challenges that many of us might have been through at some point. Ever had to make a tough decision that changed everything? Ever had to stand up for yourself when no one else was? Stick with me through the end to see how this person managed to turn things around. And hey, if you like what you hear, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps me keep bringing you more stories just like this. Thanks so much for being here. Let's dive in.
I'm Harper Moore, and a few months ago, I made a decision that changed my life. But at the time, it felt like the end of everything I had ever known. I thought I had just made the biggest mistake of my life, but now, looking back, I see that I was finally making the right choice. Let me start from the beginning. Growing up, my older sister Lena was always the star of the show. She was the picture-perfect child who could do no wrong. Everyone loved her, my parents, our extended family, friends, you name it. She was the smart, accomplished one, and I was just there. No one ever outright said it, but I could feel it. Lena was always the one getting the accolades, the trophies, the praise. I, on the other hand, was the underachiever, the one who had to try a little harder to get noticed. I tried my best to fit in, to be the good daughter, to do what was expected. But when it came time for Lena's wellness retreat in Bali, it was clear what the family wanted. My parents, especially my mom, expected me to chip in and help fund her trip. After all, I had a little savings from my job at the tech startup. They assumed I'd be more than happy to give up my hard-earned cash to send Lena on her healing journey. I mean, why wouldn't I? It was family, right? But I did something they didn't expect. Instead of sending money for her trip, I did something for me. I bought a house. It wasn't a mansion. Far from it. In fact, it was a rundown fixer-upper in a neighborhood that most people wouldn't even think twice about. The house was nothing special, peeling paint, sagging roof, broken windows, but it was mine. My house. For $900, I had a space where I could finally live life on my own terms. And I didn't care what my parents thought. I didn't care that my mom thought I was being reckless. I remember pulling into the gravel driveway, the tires crunching under the weight of the car. The house sat at the end, dark and looming in the distance. The rain was falling hard, and it felt like the sky was crying with me. But as I parked, I felt something I hadn't felt in years, a sense of freedom. My heart was racing, but it wasn't from fear. It was from excitement. This house was mine, and for the first time, I wasn't bound by anyone else's expectations. The moment I told my parents, I knew it would cause a stir. But I didn't expect it to feel like a betrayal. I'll never forget the look on Mom's face. It was a mix of confusion, anger, and disappointment. Dad didn't say much at first, but his silence was loud enough. You bought a dump? Lena laughed, her words dripping with sarcasm. Are you serious? You couldn't even spare the money to help me reset, and instead, you throw it away on that. I felt a stab of anger, but I swallowed it down. This wasn't about Lena. It was about me, for once. Do you know how much I've sacrificed for you too? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Do you realize how much I've tried to fit into this family? To make everyone proud? And what do I get in return? Nothing but the feeling that I'm never enough. Mom set down her wine glass with a sharp clink. You've clearly chosen poverty over family, Harper, she said, her voice cold. You want to live like that? Fine. But don't expect us to support you. I was stunned. The words hit harder than I expected. I thought about arguing, about fighting back, but what was the point? My name was erased from the family group chat the next morning. Just like that, I was out. No more Sunday dinners. No more check-ins. Nothing. The silence was deafening. And that was when I realized the truth. I didn't need them. I had been trying to live up to their expectations my whole life. And for what? To be overlooked, to be ignored? Not anymore. I wasn't playing their game. It didn't stop there. Lena wasn't going to let me off the hook that easily. A few weeks after the fallout, I logged into social media one night to find something that made my blood boil. Lena had created a GoFundMe campaign titled, "Help My Sister Rebuild Her Life After the Crisis." The campaign used pictures of me in front of my new house, looking tired and worn out, like I was struggling. And the worst part? She was using it as a way to fund her wellness retreat. The campaign painted me as someone in crisis, mentally spiraling and living in a dilapidated house. Lena made it look like I was begging for help, while she was the selfless sister trying to save me. I stared at the page in disbelief. She was using me. Using my life for likes, for donations, for sympathy. And people were eating it up. Donations poured in, and Lena was raking in the cash, but not for me. For her. I couldn't let it go on. I couldn't let her exploit me like that. So I did what I had to do. I confronted her. The next time I saw her, I pulled her aside. "You think this is a joke?" I asked, my voice low but sharp. "Using me to get donations for your trip? For your reset?" Lena shrugged, trying to brush it off. "I thought you'd appreciate the help. You know, people are really supporting you." "No," I said, my voice hardening. "I'm done being your punching bag, Lena. I'm done being your charity case." I couldn't just let it slide, so I turned to the one person who could help, Jade Lawson, a paralegal I had met during my time volunteering at a nonprofit. Jade was sharp, confident, and a little bit of a badass. She listened to my story and immediately got to work. "This is fraud, Harper," Jade said. "We can go after her. We'll expose what she's doing and shut this down." Together, we started gathering evidence. We took screenshots of the GoFundMe page, saved the messages Lena had sent, and started documenting everything. Jade helped me file cease and desist letters, sending them to all the people who had donated to the campaign. It wasn't long before the backlash hit Lena. The ultimate moment came when Jade and I delivered a cease and desist letter to Lena during one of her live streaming events. She was in the middle of a broadcast when she saw the letter. Her face went white, and for a split second, she didn't know what to do. The comments flooded in. People were starting to figure out what she had done. The hashtag #FakeCharities started trending. The cracks in her perfect world were starting to show. After the dust settled, I wasn't interested in gloating. The satisfaction wasn't in the legal victory or the public humiliation of Lena. No, the satisfaction was in the peace I was finding in my own life. I spent weeks fixing up my house, turning it into a home. It wasn't pretty. There were still holes in the walls and the roof leaked when it rained. But it was mine. The creaking floorboards were a reminder that I was creating something with my own two hands, something that was mine. And slowly, I started to build a life for myself. I made friends in the neighborhood, people who didn't know or care about my family's drama. I hosted BBQs in my backyard, laughed with my neighbors, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I belonged. Then came Aunt Claire, the only one who had ever stood by me. At a family gathering, she finally spoke up. Harper has been the one to support everyone else, and what does she get? Nothing but scorn and judgment. "I stand with her," Aunt Claire said, standing tall in front of my parents and the rest of the family. For the first time, I didn't feel alone. Aunt Claire's support was the final piece I needed to realize I was better off without the family who had always treated me like an afterthought. Months passed. I had settled into my new life. I was finally free, and I wasn't looking back. But then, one morning, I got a text from Lena. I couldn't believe it. "Hey Harper, things have been tough. Any chance I could stay with you for a while? Just until I get things together." The audacity. After everything she had done, she thought she could just waltz back into my life? I sat there for a long time, staring at the text. But I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even hurt. I just felt calm. So, I responded with the only thing that felt right. There's no space for lies here anymore. That was it. The moment I realized I wasn't going to let her back into my life. Not like this.
So, what do you think? Have you ever had to choose peace over family? Or maybe you've been in a situation where you had to fight for yourself, no matter the cost? Drop your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If this story resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. There's always more to come, and I can't wait to share the next chapter with you. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this journey. Your support means everything. See you soon, and remember, sometimes the hardest walls we break through are the ones built by those who were supposed to love us.